But Janice, has anything happened spiritually recently? Have you been digging some?
No, I just wanted to find out some questions about people next to me. Why things, experiences, they are more painful than others. And it's a lot to do with your cellular memory, you know?
At this point of the podcast, we thought we would start adding certain explanations to the theories we keep throwing around. So, the cellular memory theory, it proposes that the memories, emotions, and trauma are not exclusively stored in the brain, but are also stored within individual cells throughout the body. The non-brain tissues can retain information from past experiences, and that's what Janice was referring to.
And I'm talking about my last relationship. I never felt so sad, but that sadness, it didn't come from me because I'm naturally very I'm joyful. But whenever I feel about that person, it makes me sad. So I connected and I asked my guys, and they said the most painful probability you already been through is now up to you to have what you get from here, but that needed to be happen to close circles that needed to be happen on both sides. But when one side is not willing to do the spiritual work, the other one must go on. And so I did my work, and it was really hard because my body was telling me to stay in the comfort zone. But me as a soul, if I get stuck, I feel like I don't evolve, and I start to feel I'm dying inside. I'm not dying, but I'm like literally, my spirit needs to have experiences to in order to evolve and to learn and to bring more consciousness to what I am. And how I do that is to have experiences. And so my last relationship was a huge experience in the weight of for my soul. For the human eyes, people they don't understand why will you do that. For myself as a soul, that I understand what is happening, I must go on. And it is painful. It's painful, but I'm growing. I'm growing, spirituality. That I learn a lot when you see that in a higher perspective, not in a human perspective, in a higher perspective, that you are a soul and you are having all these experiences, you don't see it sad. You see it as it is, just an experience. It's just a constant battle between the human side and then the spiritual being that you are. And your body feels sad, but then inside you, your higher self, saying, it's fine, it's okay. The show must go on. It's okay. You have to experience, it's okay. But
Isn't that also why we meditate to end the eternal suffering? In a way, you will never end the suffering, but you will see it from perspective, and that's how the suffering ends.
absolutely.
I would say that it's not a battle. It's just as we don't know because we forget why we are here. We don't remember who we are, and because we are love and light. Even though many people say, no, no, but not everybody is love and light. I would say human beings in most are love and light, but we forget. And we try desperate to understand or but sometimes we don't even try to understand what's life about. And we believe that life is about making money, having houses, having cars, we believe that it's about the physical thing. But it's like Janice said, I had the same experience as Janice. It's the experience. When you learn to see as experience, even the worst moments in your life, like like we have talked in private, that for me was being attacked by one of my patients, and I thought I would die. And then today I'm like, wow, what an amazing experience. Because thanks to that, I almost died, Okay. But that made me start reviewing my life. That started making me think about, what do I really want in this life? Do I want to work like crazy, 130, 150%? Or do I want to take care of my family, do what I love to do? And then I started trying to recognize who I was. And that's what took me into the spiritual path many, many, many years ago. Many years ago. I think that today I'm very thankful for that experience, even though it really went hard to my health and economy and all that stuff. But without that, I wouldn't be where I am today, helping other people, etc., etc. I think it's that we think it's a battle, we think it's bad, but it's because we're just seeing the illusion. We are not seeing behind the illusion that it's about what the soul is here to learn.
I hear recently teachers and people they say I hear that we are in a game and it's not to do with how to win it, but to know the rules of this game. And basically winning the game is enjoying the game. And that to me it makes so much sense. But obviously this is something that they're talking about, especially in Spain and South America. They are nowadays saying that we are in a game of the matrix and we are in a matrix, whatever. And but you say something that I was thinking about all this Christmas season. It's like it's just experience. It's just remember what you are here for. It's just experience. If you are believing that this life or this game is the reality, you are getting lost in how to enjoy the game. Does this make sense, Veronica, for you? Or
I'm just not used to talking about it. I feel like I don't know how to put it in words. So in my head, it makes sense. And I also don't want to sound, I don't know what, privileged, or I'm always annoyed at people who are like, well, I always knew that this was a game. You know, it's so provocative. But I feel like I always, okay, I don't know why I got excited. Well, in my family, since I was a child, I've always been considered as the child with the head in the clouds. But it's not that I wasn't attentive. It's just everything just seems like it's happening, but why are people getting so attached to it? Why are people so emotional? And of course, I have emotions, but in a way, it was always like, yes, this is school, and this is the time I go to school, and this is the time I do this, and this is the time I get my heartbreak. In a way, I don't want to sound like, yeah, I was present in the moment, but from that distant observant place, and a lot of people didn't understand me, and they would call me weird or detached. But in a way, in my opinion, I was detached from the game here, but not from my true meaning. And everything I did in my life was following that intuition. So talking about it, I feel like it needs to be talked about because people need to hear. But those who will not be ready to hear it, they will not understand.
yeah, of course, because we
I have that experience with some friends, and I know they're very worried about what they're doing in their life right now, that something didn't go well, and then they suffer, but not in the experiencing way suffer, but just suffer, and they don't see anything outside of the suffering. And I can't help them, and it really saddens me.
You said something about being weird that touched me because I all my life I felt I was weird. I was the weird of the family. But then now when I'm teaching and I teach a lot of people now, and this is much of what people say when they are different, but that they feel weird. They feel that they don't belong. I think it's so interesting. But I believe that many people are looking for the experience today without knowing that's what they're looking for. And that's why they go in trips and go and take this and take that, just to have the experience. And the experience they're looking for is experience of oneness, the experience for recognizing what they are. So, but they don't know that they are actually spiritual. They don't know they're looking for that. They just think that this is a trend or whatever. but it is actually about the reason my experience, at least for me, the reason I'm here is to experience and remember who I am and what I have said I would do when I remember that. And I believe I'm doing that. And I know that because everything that I do makes me happy. Everything that I do, I have the strength to do it. And I can see the face of the people when I help them in something, how they bloom and how they suddenly, what they thought it was not possible, suddenly is possible. It's magic. They experience that magic is possible. Many of them are not aware of that. But we all are able to make magic. And when the magic comes from the heart, then it's beautiful, amazing, and magnificent. So yes, we're weird, and I'm happy to be weird.
Absolutely. To be honest, I feel less weird now. Well, of course, I found a lot of people who are spiritual, and that really helps. Because until you meet other people like you, until you get that kind of connection with someone else, you feel alone. And I notice that now when I'm meeting new people, I look at them in the eye, I meet, and we say names, but I'm looking for that sparkle, like that shiny thing, that moment of self-realization, maybe not self-realization, but that enthusiasm for life. But it's not the same because some people are spiritual, some people don't know they're spiritual, but it's the thing in the eye. And I just don't know, when I meet someone like that they will either be spiritual later or they already are, they have some experience. It just makes me so happy. Just looking at that little glimpse, a mirror in the eye, and I feel like I belong.
I agree with you because many people, like you said, are spiritual and they're not aware of they're spiritual, or they wouldn't call it spirituality. I know people and professionals in health that they are so spiritual and they are so big healers, and they would never call themselves healers because that's not what they think healing is, for example, or spirituality is. I know people that they need to go to the woods every day. They need to sit there and enjoy and look at the birds and that's that connection with Mother Earth. They need it, but they would never call it spirituality. They would call it a connection with nature, but they don't know that that's a huge part of spirituality. Like bathing, many people that needs to go bathing, or when they experience doing that, and then they need it, they go. And this is the same thing with meditation. When you start with meditation is so difficult, it's so hard, blah blah blah. And then when you start experiencing meditation, when you start feeling what meditation does with your body, how you feel that the vagus nerve reacts.
The vagus nerve that Yasmin is mentioning is a group of main nerves of your parasympathetic nervous system, and this system controls specific body functions such as your digestion, heart rate, and immune system. And it's also known as the system that controls rest and digest functions in your body.
The vagus nerve reacts and you go into relax, and then you say, what's happening? And then when you stop meditating, you say, I'm missing something, and it's the meditation. So it's really beautiful, both the spirituality or the essence, connecting to the essence or whatever you want to call it. It's actually really easy. It's just to take care of ourselves and enjoy it without bad conscience or without thinking that, oh, I should be doing something else. And regarding that, it's like I hear people that are having nice time with their family and they're just enjoying there, and then suddenly raised up and said, oh, I have to go and do something. Hello, aren't you enjoying your family? Isn't that the biggest thing you could do? So it's like how we express ourselves and what is important for us. Yeah, I think many people need to rethink what actually is important in life.
And also to add on that, not everyone is meant to be to awake. Not everyone. It's just a very small portion of the population that they are the ones that are struggling the most. It makes sense of this game in this life. As you said, the way is to easy this life is connection. meditation connected to nature that is giving us back to the origin.
That was all of Essence Talks for today. Thank you so much for listening, and remember to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Bye bye.